Today we have Karlo Weldon's interview with Harol Freese. Harol was selected for the Finance Corps, and his service primarily took him to Thailand during the Vietnam War.
This is Karlo Weldon, and I'm a junior at Ridgeview High School.
I'm Harol Freese, and I live in Holstein.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was going to college at the University of South Dakota, and they had an ROTC program there. For the first 2 years, it was 1 hour of credit per semester, but it was mandatory. And then I voluntarily enrolled in the senior cadet program, I guess you'll call it, for the last 2 years. And then after 3 hours of a semester for the last 4 semesters, and then a boot camp of sorts for 6 weeks at Fort Lewis, Washington. And upon my graduation from the University of South Dakota, I received a commission as a second lieutenant. And then I was selected for the Finance Corps of the Army. So,
What was basic training like?
well, I kind of went past that a little bit, but like I said, we had between my junior and senior year in college, I spent 6 weeks out at Fort Lewis, Washington, doing a basic course. It was treated like an enlisted cadet, or private if you want to call it that, and so then at the completion of that 6 weeks, then that was my basic training. And so then from then, when I went into the active Army, I received 6 weeks of Finance Corps training at Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana.
What do you remember about the day you left home?
Well, I left home from Omaha, and we flew out to San Francisco. I guess I was kind of excited about it. I had been at the Finance Corps School in Fort Benjamin Harrison for 6 weeks, and then I had a short leave, and then I wasn't with a unit, but I flew out by myself to San Francisco. From there we went to Okinawa, and then we went to Bangkok, Thailand.
Can you please describe what your specific job was with the military?
I was with the 9th Log Command, Logistical Command, in Karat, Thailand on my first assignment. They were just kind of building, increasing the personnel levels in Thailand, and so they were during the year of 1966, and so I was assistant budget officer, which we controlled a budget so that there was an engineering group or battalion that was building roads in Thailand, and was building some temporary buildings in Thailand. And we purchased, the people that purchased the lumber, they would send their requisitions up to us, and we would make sure that there was funds available. So that was my first assignment. So.
Where did you serve during the war?
In Karat, Thailand for a year. Upcountry, Karat, Thailand is about 150 miles northeast of Bangkok.
How was landing in Thailand?
Well, like I told you, I was not part of a unit. I didn't go with 150. So I knew where I was supposed to go, and I guess the rush of the moment was getting to where I was to get on a civilian bus and go up country, 150 miles. That was my main concern. So I guess I was probably excited. And then when I did get there at Camp Friendship, I didn't know anybody, and I didn't know for that first day I looked around and I thought, wow, this is going to be a long year. But it kind of went, we was busy with our work, but once I got involved, it went faster, but it was kind of overwhelming. I do remember that now, that, wow, I got to be here a year.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
Through letters. I had a tape recorder, and I did some taping, but I never did get. It's all modern technology now. I think that you can Skype and do all that, but no, it was through letters back in 1966.
What were some fun things you did while you were deployed?
Well, I guess the fun things was where I was stationed. It was considered a hardship tour, and we just stayed in a open air kind of hooches, they called them, which was a slatted building with kind of fly screen wire. And so when I got to go to Bangkok, Thailand, there was air conditioning and nice places to eat. And then we did get some R&R, which is relaxation, down at a beach for about 3 or 4 days down there. So that's basically what I did for fun.
Can you describe how it felt coming home?
Felt really good. There was an adjustment period that you had because you just were at a hardship tour, but I had 9 months to left in my 2-year active duty with the Army, and so it was quite it was different. It was different when I was over there, and it took a little bit of adjusting, but I didn't have that much trouble with it.
What did you do when you came back?
I came back in March of 67, and then I stayed I had an obligation, a 2-year active duty obligation, to be till December of 67. December of 67, December 31st. And then I went to work for R.R. Donnelly, which was a printing company in Crawfordsville, Indiana.
What did you learn about yourself?
Well, I guess I matured more, kind of got focused on what I wanted to do later in life. So,
how do you think your time in the military affected you?
I think it was a good experience. I met a lot of people that were career soldiers, and watched their interaction and with people, and learned to communicate with people and do the job, get things done. So it was a good experience.
Would you do this again?
Oh, maybe 50-50. I would. Yeah. I really consider myself privileged that I didn't have to serve in Vietnam, because that was really tough. I had college roommates that served in Vietnam, and they said one guy didn't go in the ROTC program, and then he got his master's, I think, somewhere in Texas, and then he was drafted as a medic, but he went in as a captain, and he says it wasn't good over there. Well, you can some of these shows like Full Metal Jacket or some of those, they portray what some of them went through. It was maybe exaggerated, but I watched one movie. It was a movie that I don't know, Friends of Our Brothers or something. But they did a documentary of the last company that was sent into Vietnam, and there's like 150 of them. They were stationed down in the Mekong Delta, and there was like 150 of them. There was 26 got killed, and there was like 80 to 90 that were wounded, and the rest came back. But I don't know. That was is sobering to see that.
This concludes my interview with Harol Freese.
Thank you for describing your roles, Harol. We appreciated hearing about the lifelong skills that were learned in the service. Please stay tuned, because next week we'll have Brant Price's interview with David Seabrick of Shaler.